What's up guys, this is a tutorial on how to assemble the prototype extendable arm gadget. Yeah, so this is a file that you get to download for free online. And yeah man, so I can show you how it works. You simply just put it on. Make sure you look for this lever or button that looks like this. So make sure that's facing up. Put your arms through it and just simply press on it. Like that. Boom. And yeah, it's a pretty cool gadget. The rest of the video will take quite a long time to explain how to assemble all the parts together, because there's a lot to this, as simple as this looks. So I can go over this real quick right now. So this is the EA hinge 2-piece. This is EA baby hinge. And this is EA hinge. And we got EA wrist. And we have EA pin. So EA pin, I'll probably post like 2 different sizes, because for some reference, I'm 6'3", and if you're anywhere shorter, you might want a shorter pin, but it's totally up to you. And we got EA slider 2. So the difference between EA slider 2 and EA slider 1 is that EA slider 2 got this bulge sticking out over here, where you could tie your thread up to EA hinge 2 right here. So the way how it works is that when this thing extends, it pulls onto the thread, which pulls onto the EA slider 2, pulls onto the EA hinge 2 inwards. That's pretty much how it works, yeah. So we also got EA slider, and we have the EA base, and these 2 right here are the EA hooks. So it's 2 different hooks. We got the regular EA hook. It looks like this. And we got the EA hook 2, which looks like this. I mean, get the camera's focus, it looks like that. And last but not least, we have the EA shell. So this have to be faced in a certain direction when you place it. These 2 dots right here has to be facing the same direction as these 2 dots right here, just like that, because it got these teeth sticking out, so it won't be able to fit here, but it will be able to fit right in here, just like that. So that's pretty much it to it. The only additional things or materials that you need for this is a thread or a wire or a string. You need rubber bands and magnets. And for the size of the magnets, it has to be 6x2 millimeters in order to fit into these parts. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. So again, this is a free file that you get to have fun with and enjoy. And if you would like to support the channel, feel free to check out other models that got posted on CG Traders. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Enjoy the rest of the video. So you would need to start off with the base, and you could just simply attach the pins just like that. And the next step is to place the EA slider right on top of that. This is how it looks like. So you just put it like this. Oh, and actually, make sure that this sliding looking piece over here is facing the same direction as this over here. Just like that. Because when we add this hook mechanism, is going to be attached to here. And whenever we bring this mechanism down, this sliding piece pushes this hook outwards. All right. And the next step is to add, or actually we could add pins. We just add pin right on the EA slider model, just like that. And now, once you've taken off the supports after printing this piece, you may insert the magnets. So sometimes it might be a little bit hard, right, to put them in, and that's completely fine. At least that means that you would not need to use glue. So in that case, what you can do is take something heavy and just push it down. And now that it's pushed all the way in, just do the same thing for everything else. If you want, you could also make sure that all the magnets are facing towards the same direction, like the magnetic poles. So you could easily just place another magnet right on top of this one and just pull it out. Make sure the piece that you're taking off is still facing upward, and just place it right on the other side, just like that. Once they're all flushed, feel free to just put it back to this base. And again, make sure that this sliding piece over here is facing the same direction as this piece, just like that. And now we got the EA slider part 2, and just do the same thing, add magnets. And this time, because why we need to add magnets to this is so that it could attach to this other piece right here. So we need to make sure that they're facing opposite directions so that they could actually connect with each other. So we just put this back here, and now when we lift it up, we just need to make sure that it's facing up. It needs to be facing in to this piece right here. So then again, apply pressure to it. And now once you're done with that, and adding all the magnets to the EA slider 2 piece, make sure that this hole right here is facing perpendicular to this piece over here. So basically it has to be at a cross like this. And you could just put the pin that's underneath it right through these parts over here, as you can see. So it has to look like this. And we can test if the magnets work, which it does. Awesome. And now we can attach the EA wrist mechanism. This piece right here has to face the same direction as this hole over here, where you're going to be putting the threads, just like this. So now we can start working on the base mechanism. And for the base mechanism, we can start with adding these hooks right here, as you can see. And it's supposed to look like this. There's a little bulge right here that's sticking out, and that's how you can identify between the two. And just in case if your print seems to be a little bit hairy, you may use like a lighter, just kind of like remove them a little bit. And if you're, if you're a young child, then make sure you have a parent around you to at least help you with this process, because I wouldn't want you to burn yourself. That's pretty much it. Now in order to attach this piece to that, we could use other things such as the filament itself, as well as the rubber bands. So I made sure that these holes over here could fit these filaments that you use to print your stuff, right? And just in case if it doesn't fit, worst case scenario, who knows, right? If it doesn't fit, doesn't go through, you may take like maybe a paper clip, heat it up, and you could poke it through and widen the hole a little bit, just so that you could fit the filament right through it. Once you have a rubber band, and it should be about this size, I don't know how to give you an accurate measurement, but maybe this would help. So yeah, so a rubber band about this size, you do this, right? Make it double layered, and you kind of like put it over this little hook piece right here. So this piece is a hook. You just put it over that. Sometimes if it doesn't go through, you may try to like pull it down a little bit, so then it will work like this. Okay, and now you take this piece and you just like hook the rubber band. This is how it's supposed to look like. And now you may insert the filament, and then afterwards you may like snip them off. And if they slide off easily, which they might do, feel free to like apply some super glue here and there. And another thing you would need is thread or any string that you may have. So depending on the strength of your thread, cut out a really long piece and kind of like lay it on top of each other, make it double layered so that it'll be a little stronger. Once you got all that evened out, you either may use a lighter depending on what kind of thread you use, and just kind of like melt the two together so that there's no extra tiny, like smaller scale fibers blocking you from inserting into those little holes. Now I'll do the same for this. And now we're gonna start with the first hook mechanism, and what you're gonna do is just make like a circle, so you can latch right on top, right onto this piece right here, just like that. It locks onto it, and you just pull the thread until it gets stuck, just like that. And you may double loop it or triple loop it to make sure it holds together really well, which is something I'm going to do right now. And once you're done with this, just loop it around here, insert it to this little hole like that, pull it out, and insert into the other one, pull it out, and the third one, just like that. And now for this second hook over here will be a little easier. All you have to do is just, let me see if I could get the camera focus, just put it through those two holes, starting with this one that's sticking outwards. Sometimes if your finger is too thick to pull that out, like mine, just use like any like tweezers to pull it out, and then you put it back in through the hole behind it. And again, just in case if something doesn't go through, just heat this up and poke it through so it could melt through the plastic and make a larger hole for you. There you go. And now we gotta make sure that everything is held together really tight. If you want, I kind of recommend this. Don't let this hook onto this piece all the way. Maybe just leave it out just a little bit, just like that, so that every time when you push onto this mechanism, it can pull onto this easier. But whatever works for you, because sometimes it could also depends on the elasticity of your thread, so it could vary for different people. If you want this to hold a little better, like the thread onto this hook, maybe just apply some super glue afterwards. There you go, and you may snip it off, and we can finally put it to the test. Let's see. So this will be that hook mechanism that you would want to push on. Not this one. This is just used as like a lever. So let's try it, and it works. Awesome. So now, if you would like, you could do the same thing for the other side for it to, I don't know, have a better grip or a better pull. So this is what I'm gonna do right now. So once you're done threading the pieces together and tying everything together, it should work just like this. Just in case if it doesn't work, it would probably just require a few more attempts. Excuse me. So the next step is just adding some more magnets. And you could apply magnets to here. Sometimes, let's say worst case scenario, this doesn't work. Just take like any tool, just kind of like scrape the top part a little bit, because maybe the supports from the 3D print is in the way. So kind of like scrape them a little bit, and then afterwards you could just like force them in. If you want the magnet from the other side to be facing towards the same direction, again, just place it right on top of that. Take this piece and put it right on top of here. And now, the last piece for the base is the shell. It's like how I taught you guys with the slider mechanism. Place it right on top of here. And here, since we got the magnets prepared, it's facing outwards, so that means this magnet will have to be facing inwards for the shell. So let's take that. I'm pulling the magnets out. The one that's facing outward is currently touching my index finger, and I'm just going to be pushing it down here. So sometimes if it doesn't go in, you could take some other tools, such as this right here, and just force it in, just like that. And now, oh, the other magnet, pulling it out, and the magnet that's the piece that's facing outward is currently touching my index finger, and that will be pressed inward into the inside of the shell piece, just like that. And now this should work. This circle pieces should be facing the same way as these circle pieces right here, just like that. So one thing that I have to point out is that depending on how strong is your rubber band, when you push against this, it doesn't go back all the way. That's not too big of a problem. What we need, because the main goal is so that when you press against here, this thing will be pulled inward as well. So whether it goes back or not is not that big of a deal, because every time when you put the pieces back together, you could always hook it back in by just pushing it from the top. There's a much more improved mechanisms that I thought of that I will be releasing after this one, where we would not need to press on anything. But since I've already made this, why not just release this, right? So now that we're finally done with this base mechanism, we don't have to worry about this anymore. Next step is adding the hinge mechanism. This long piece right here should be facing inward, just like this. And we may use the filament and just poke through the hole right here and snip that off. Take the other one, place it over here. There you go. And we have the last two hinge. So as you can see, I've already attached the magnets to this. And from what I've taught you previously, you should be able to know how to add the magnets properly. Take the filament and just poke right through it. And there you go. As you can see, there's a little hook mechanism over here. You again make like a circle, right? Latch it on top of the hook mechanism, tie it, and it has to go through this hole over here, coming out, and you should tie it onto this piece right here. Right here. And just put it through this little hole right here and pull it out. For this step, I feel like you may just detach this piece right here for it to be a little bit more convenient for you to put the parts together. So when you tie this thread, this piece has to be straight and it has to be stiff like that. So make sure that's stiff and pull this whole thing, make it go upwards like this. And sometimes for some extra support, just take the other side and you can have it hold together like just like that. So you don't have to worry about it falling off or anything like that. So this is actually perfect. So know that it's holding together. And again, maybe for extra security, lock that baby hinge on there. And all you have to do is just tie this, loop it, and make sure it's secured. And then just do the same thing for the other side. So once you're done with this piece, you may finally just attach this piece back. And the last step, finally, is to add rubber bands. And I made this piece universal in a way for like different kinds of or variations of rubber bands, because I know like none of our rubber bands are 100% the same. So these are the different variations. So like I typically use these smaller ones. Let's start with this. If you have a smaller rubber band, you would need 4 of them, and they would need to be hooked onto this side piece over here. It's like latch it on top of it, right, as well as the bottom, just like that. And you need to do it for all 4 sides. But if you have a slightly bigger rubber band that sticks out a lot once you try to latch it on top of it, right, like that, this is what you could do. All you need is just 2 sides. You don't need to put them on all 4 sides, otherwise it will be way too powerful and it will probably just break the whole part itself. So all you do with the long rubber band is just make it double layered like this and attach it to this side over here. So make sure it's like right next to this hinge mechanism, because when it folds, there's like a little piece right here that can kind of like hold on to the rubber band, and you'll see what I mean afterwards. And just to make sure that the rubber band is like latching onto this really well, you may like just pull this down a little bit, adjust everything, pull it to the side just like this, back and forth, for it to even out, and it should work. Sometimes it might take a few more attempts, like you might have to detach it and reattach the rubber band. So once you're done attaching the rubber band piece to it, you could push it down. Actually start with pushing down rather than pulling the hinge piece. Push it down first and push the hook, because you still need to push that against it to actually hook onto it, have those little teeth that I built inside of it to bite onto it, and now it's secured. And once that is secured, you may bring this down, fold it, and you can take advantage of this rubber band over here and kind of like let it sit over there. Let this piece go right behind the rubber band, because eventually once it folds out, it would still roll off of it. So eventually I will still come up with a mechanism or a design for it to hold this piece together. But for now, this is pretty good. This is a prototype after all, but this is how it looks like. And let's put it to the test. It finally works. Awesome. So as you can see, it unfolds and it connects itself using magnets, which is pretty cool. Although one thing I have to point out and say that for our arm, it's slightly different. So I'm gonna have to change the model or the design afterwards, because what happens is, since our arms are not fully straight, this piece right here, somehow when it collapses and try to latch onto each other, it latches at the bottom of the wrist. Maybe it just depends on our arms or something like that. I don't know, maybe it's different for everybody, but this is just how it is for me. But so far it still works. You know, this is a prototype after all. I will come up with improvements, do not worry. But for now, you get to have fun with this. This is a very simple design. I even have a lot of fun with this, especially when I make the cardboard version. Let's try it again. Boom. So as you can see, this connects, but it still hits the hand a little bit. Maybe if we shrink down the pin, it'll work a little bit better. But for now, it works pretty smooth. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to support the channel, you may, I guess, buy or get the other files I've published on CG Traders. I released a flamenco project coin. I also released a briefcase project. You may check it out if you like it. If not, it's totally fine. But with that being said, without any further ado, have fun and enjoy this project. See ya.